Hello. 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 Am I audible? Hello. Hello.
Yes, you are audible.
Data.
You are audible,
Okay.
Akka.
Okay. I think only two. Ah. Okay. Once I will share my screen. You just see you. It is visible, no?
It's coming. Just wait, Akka. Just a minute.
Okay. Hello. You have to make me at least go. Then only I can share the screen. I think.
Hello? Hello, Akka. Can you hear me?
Hello, Lata. Hello. Lata, you have to make me co-host.
Yeah. You can share now.
Okay. Visible now for everyone.
Just a second, coming. It's
This
coming.
side.
Rotate your
Okay.
phone.
Okay. So shall I start the class? What?
Yeah, rotate it. Put it. Yeah. Now it's okay. Continue.
Okay. 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 So shall I start the class? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Started.
okay. Okay. So good morning, everyone. Today's class will be on excretory system of insect. So first of all, we should know what is excretion and why excretion is important. So can anyone unmute yourself and define what excretion is? Do you know what excretion is?
Removal of waste material from the body.
Okay. Okay. Right. It is right. So actually, you know that every body there will be some chemical reactions takes place, right? So as a result, many waste products will be formed. So these waste products they will be of no value to the organism, or it would be harmful if they are allowed to accumulate. So in order to remove, or the process of elimination of these waste product is what is known as excretion. And the mechanical devices or the system that is developed in the organism for this process of excretion is what is known as excretory system. So there are two functions that this excretion actually do. One, as she said, it will remove the waste product, and second one is that it will maintain balance between the ions and the water in the body fluid. So So the eliminated substance of these waste products will be solid, liquid, or it may also be in gaseous in form. And the principal gas that is being expelled as a waste is carbon dioxide. And we have dealt with that in the respiratory system. So now we are going to concentrate mainly on the waste product that is being eliminated as nitrogenous or non-nitrogenous waste. Sorry, salt. And the organs that serve to eliminate these substances are what is known as excretory organs. So now let's see what are the organs that are involved in the excretion. So first one, it is Malpighian tubules, then rectum, fat bodies, nephrocytes, enocytes, integument, and labial glands. And the dominant organ that is involved in excretion is Malpighian tubules and the rectum. So first, let's see what this Malpighian tubule is. So, these Malpighian tubules were first discovered by an Italian anatomist, and his name is what is Malpighi. And these Malpighian tubules were named after him. So, if you see almost all the insect, that is universally this Malpighian tubule is present, but it is not present among these three insects. So, can anyone identify what these pictures indicate? What these insects are?
Aphids,
Which one?
silverfish, aphids, columbola,
Yeah, the third one. It is
aphids,
aphid. So
aphids and
these three insects, that is
springtails.
Columbo, what? Yeah, that is springtail, that is Thysanura, and the middle one, it is the Columbola. So this Columbola, you know that it is peculiar character. It is having 6 abdomen only. So you can count there is only 6 abdomen. So these are the 3 insects that are not having this Malpighian tubules. So if you see here, so you can see here, there is a tube-like structure, right? So the Malpighian tubules, they are very much long, slender, and also they are blind tubules that are lying in the hemocoel. So hemocoel, you know that it is the body cavity, and it will be lying in the hemolymph. So where these are freely bathed by the blood. So these open at their extreme, proximal extremities into the intestine. So you can see here, sorry, as I am using mobile, I'm not able to use the mouse. So here you can see the proximal extremities. It is into the intestine near the junction of the hindgut as well as the midgut. And if you see distally, these are free. But in some insect, here you can view, that is this one. So in this, you can see that is the picture B. Here, what happens is in some insect, the distal ends of the tubules are closely aligned to the hindgut, and this type of is what is known as cryptonephridial condition. This is an important concept, that when the malphigian tubules end is connected to the hindgut, this is what is known as cryptonephridial condition. And this occurs in the larvae and adults of many Coleoptera, in some Hymenopteran larvae, then Neuroptera, and also almost all the Lepidoptera larvae. So this particular concept is very much important for any competitive examinations. So this cryptonephridial system, it probably enables the insect to conserve the water by withdrawing its moisture from the frass, that is the waste products of this insect. And if you see in the picture C, here the malphigian tubules is differentiated into 2 or 3 parts. So you can see very lightly, they are actually divided into 2 to 3 parts, and this is seen in the insect reduit bugs. And also, if you see in the picture D, in some insect there will be vesicular enlargement. As you see in the near the malphigian tubules, they will be having a vesicular enlargement or ampulla at the bases of each tube. And also in some insect, you can observe the So in picture E, you can see these are arborescent. So this type of malphigian tubule is actually seen in insect Galeria that belongs to the order Lepidoptera. And in the next picture, that is F, you can observe that some give off short, closely packed diverticula. So this type of malphigian tubule, it is seen in Melolonta, that belongs to the order Coleoptera. And also very frequently, you can observe that the tubules will get united in groups of 2 or 3, and this may open in a common ampulla, or it is known as bladder, and it discharge into the intestine. So you can see here in the picture G. So that is seen in the insect Dysdergus that belongs to the order Hemiptera. And you can see in the picture H, here you can see that all the tubes have been converged, and it is opening into a common ureter, and it is seen in Aceta, and it belongs to the order Orthoptera. And last one is I. The picture I, you can see here 4 of the tubules, they discharge into a common ampulla, while the remaining 2 shorter vessels have isolated insertion. So this type of malphigian tubule, it is seen in Donacea, that is, it belongs to a order Coleoptera. So these are the different types of malphigian you can see in different insects. So next is that not only in size, it also differs in number. So in Ordinata, if you see, one second. So in Ordinata, if you see, they will be having 50 to 70. They will be having 50 to 70 malphigian tubules. But in general, if you see, it will be only 6. But it may increase or may decrease in insect to insect. So as in case of this Ordinata, as I said, there will be 50 to 70 malphigian tubules. Whereas in Orthoptera, there will be 30 to 120 malphigian tubules. And in the order Anoplura, that is the head louse, then Thysanoptera, that is thrips, then Hemiptera, that is bugs, scales, mealybugs, everything comes under this Hemiptera, and Diptera, that is houseflies and all. So these all will be having only four Malpighian tubules, whereas Pseudophora and Podoptera will be having 4 to 6 Malpighian tubules. If you take Isoptera, they will be having 2 to 8. And in Thysanura, they will be having 4 to 16. And Dermatra, it will be having 8 to 20. And in Hymenoptera, 20 ants, whereas in other Aculeata groups, they will be having over 100 Malpighian tubules. So insect to insect, there is variation of Malpighian tubules in size as well as in numbers. So next, let's see about some histology of this Malpighian tubules. So if you take histologically, actually these Malpighian tubules are actually considered as a derivative of the ectodermal proctodium. So what is this proctodium? Foregut, midgut, or
Hindgut.
Hindgut.
Yes, hindgut. But there are also studies that it is also a derivative of misandrone. So what is misandrone?
Midgut.
Midgut.
Yeah, correct. So here you can see it is actually a transverse section of this Malpighian tube. So this transverse section, they will be having 3 to 8 large as well as variable shaped epithelial cell. So you can see in the picture here. So they will be having a epithelial cell, and in this epithelial cell, they will be having a prominent nuclei. And these cells, they will border the lumen of this Malpighian tubules. And also, if you take the epithelial cells, they will rest externally on a basement membrane. So you can see the round shape. So that basement membrane is what is known as tunica propria. So that basement membrane is what is known as tunica propria, and this tunica propria, it is being covered by another peritoneal coat, and this peritoneal coat will be having muscle fiber. So if you take this Malpighian tubule, it is actually differentiated in particularly into two regions. So 1/3 it will be proximal. Proximal means it is in close association with the intestine, and the distal is somewhat distant from the proximal side. So the 1/3 proximal, the proximal region is it contains brush border, and the distal part, it is having the honeycomb border, and this honeycomb border will be helpful in the absorption of various ions. So what is this proximal part known as? What I said? Proximal region.
Brush border.
It will be having.
Brush
Brush
border.
Will
border.
be having, yes, brush border, and the distal one, it will be having,
Comb border.
yeah, honeycomb border.
Honeycomb border.
Yes,
Brush border, honeycomb border.
yes. So so this Malpighian tubules, it is actually having primary function as well as secondary function. So first, let's see what their primary function is. So as I said, this Malpighian tubule is the one which is helpful in excretion. So first important thing is excretion, and the second thing is that it helps in the regulation of the internal environment, that is the body fluid. That is, it is helpful in controlling the iron as well as the water balance in the blood, and also it will helpful in removing the nitrogenous waste. So according to the habitat of the insect, the requirement of these process also varies. For example, if you see the insect that live in water or in damp humus, they need only little water. So they do not have to conserve much of water. But if you take the terrestrial insect, they are continuously exposed to sunlight as well as the air. So what they have to do is they are they are more prone to this desiccation and they are required to conserve the water. So what happens is these malphizian tubules, they will come in direct contact with the blood. I told that these malphizian tubules are being bathed in the blood. So they will come in direct contact with the blood and they will withdraw the water, the dissolved salts, then amino acids, and also the nitrogenous waste that are present in the blood, and they will absorb it. So these materials in the blood, they will pass down the lumen of the tubules and finally into the hindgut. And some or all of the water, salts, and also nutritive substance, they will be reabsorbed either in the proximal part of the tubules or they will be reabsorbed in the hindgut. So the major part that will helpful in reabsorbing these waste materials is the rectum. And finally, the nitrogenous waste will pass out with the fecus. And as I said, the cryptonephridial tubules, it also helps to conserve the water since it facilitates its removal from the fecal material in the hindgut itself. And if you take the secondary function of the malphizian tubules, some insects, for example, the chrysomelidae, you can see the third picture. It is a chrysomelidae larvae. So this chrysomelidae, it will produce a sticky secretion, and this sticky secretion will helps or aids in the ambulation. Ambulation is nothing but the locomotion. So, and also while, 1 second. So this chrysomelidae,
Ambulation.
it will aid in ambulation. Then in some females of the same family, it also the eggs, it will enclose the eggs in the secretion by this malphizian tubules. Then you can see the first picture. It is the spittle bug that belongs to the family Cercopidae. So these immature Cercopidae is also the spittle surroundings that is in the immature this Cercopidae. In order to protect themselves from the predators is also a malphizian tubule secretion. And
Hello?
hello,
Ma'am, there is a disturbance, ma'am.
disturbance from here. I think someone unmuted. It's not from my side.
Okay, ma'am.
Can everyone
Your voice is
unmute
not
your
getting
audio?
clear.
My voice is not clear. Hello, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Due to the disturbance, it is not clear, ma'am.
Okay, due to that, it is not clear. Okay. You understood the primary function, right? I have to go
Yes,
from
ma'am.
secondary
No.
function.
Secondary one. Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then I will start from there. So if you take secondary function, so here the chrysomelidae larvae, there will be a secretion from this malphizian tubules, and this secretion, it will helps in ambulation, that is locomotion. And also some females, they will use the secretion from this malphizian tubules to enclose the eggs, and this enclosure will help this eggs from the predator. And next is the spittle surrounding that the immature Cercopidae is having is also a malphizian tubule secretion. So it is a peculiar character of the spittle bug. And next is the immature Neuroptera, that is lace wings and all comes under this Neuroptera order. So these are having, this will produce silk from the specialized cell that is present in this malphizian epithelium. And if you take the larvae bolitophylla that belongs to the order Diptera, they will actually emit light. And this emitted light is also because of the secretion from the malphizian tubules. So these are the major function, that is malphizian tubule, the main. So you can see here in the, it is a structure that is between the hindgut and the midgut, and the main function is the excretion, and next one is to maintain the ionic balance. And the secondary function, as I mentioned, there are 4 to 5 other functions that this malphizian tubule is also involved in. So next it is the so next it is the rectum. So can anyone say what are the major parts in the hindgut? The three
Ileum,
major
colon,
parts.
rectum.
Yes. So it is ileum, colon, and rectum. So ileum, it is the anterior part of the hindgut, and the colon, it is a narrow middle portion, and the last extended portion, it is the rectum. So in many terrestrial insect, if you take, the rectum is the only site of water and also solute resorption from the excreta. But if you see in insect like locust, the ileum also, it contributes to the osmoregulation, that is maintaining the ionic balance. And if you take other insect, in some insect, you can see that specific part of the rectal epithelium. So here you can see this one. So in some insects, specific part of the rectal epithelium, they will be thickened. And this thickened portion is what is known as rectal pads or rectal papillae. And this pads or papillae will also helpful in reabsorption of the uh, water or other salts. And in cockroaches also, the colon will be helpful in the osmoregulation. That is rectum. So far we have seen the organs that are involved is malphizian tubules and the rectum. So next one, it is the integument, right? So you know that the molting in insect, it is also suggested to be a process of excretion. Particularly, it will remove the nitrogenous waste products. So even substances like pigments, if you see, they are actually the they are actually the final products of the metabolic activities that are going on inside the insect body. So these metabolic products, what this body will do is they will transfer this waste product to certain parts of the integument, and this gets deposited instead of being excreted. So once the molting happens, this will also gets removed. So that is how this integument helps in the excretion. So next it is nephrocytes. So nephrocytes, if you see, these are some group of cells that are actually found in some localized region of insect body. And so you can see here the nephrocytes. So these actually have two principal groups, that is the dorsal nephrocytes and the ventral nephrocytes. So the dorsal nephrocytes, you can see it on either side of the heart. And these cells are present in the immature stage and also the adults of some insect. Whereas the ventral nephrocytes, it is, so the dorsal, it is in the heart, and the ventral, it is actually occurring in the body cavity below the intestine. And this particular ventral nephrocyte, it is actually attached to the salivary glands. And this ventral, it is seen in the dipterous larvae. So the next organ, it is fat bodies. So, so these fat bodies, it is composed of irregular masses or lobes of this rounded or polyhedral cells. And these fat bodies contains a cell, and this cells is what is known as trophocytes. So this fat body, you can find it throughout the insect body. If you have dissected the cockroach, you would have seen in the gut, the fat bodies would completely cover this gut. So what, if you need to view this gut properly, you need to remove all these fat bodies in this gut. Then only you can view while you dissect the digestive system of this cockroach. So as I said, in many insect, the fat body, it is having a tightly compact cell, and this cell is what is known as trophocytes. And these fat bodies, as you can see here, they can be easily distinguished. And the outer layer, it is known as parietal layer. This is seen beneath the body wall, and it is having an inner or visceral layer, and this surrounds and enters between various organs. So this is the etiology of this fat body. And if you see in some insect, the deposits of this uric acid, so uric acid, it is a waste product of this terrestrial insect. And these uric acids or urates will also appear in the fat bodies. So if you take Columbola, blatta, and Hymenopterus larvae, the excretory granules that are formed in the specialized urate cell. So this fat bodies will be having a specialized cell that is known as urate cell. So these urate cells, in this urate cell, the waste products will be stored. And also, this fat body is known to carry the function of the storage excretion. And also in fat bodies, some calcium salts also gets accumulated in the fat body of the phytophagus Dipterus larvae. So this is the function of the fat body. So fat body will also do the function of storage excretion. It is also an important point. So next it is the enocyte. So you might have studied this enocyte cell in the integument, right? So these are large cell. It is found in the body cavity of most of the insect. And these cells are also scattered among the tissues of the abdomen. And also they are associated with the fat cells too. And you also know that their another function is that they are involved in the secretion of the cuticle layer of the epicuticle. And also there is another function in cockroach, that is there is a greasy layer in cockroach. So this greasy layer is also secreted by this enocyte cell. So next, so next it is labial glands. So these labial glands are also helpful in the excretion. So if you say, you can very well see that it is a tubular structure, and this particular labial gland, it is present in the head of the columbola. And you can see here, it is opening by a common duct above the base of labium. So these consist of that saccule, that oval-like thing, that saccule is there. Then this saccule, they will be communicating with a long coiled tube. And this long coiled tube, it is what is known as labyrinth. So can anyone say what are all the organ that is involved in this excretion? What are the till now? At least say one by one. Hello.
Malphizian tubules,
Okay.
rectum, fat bodies, nephrocytes, inocytes, integument, and finally it is labial gland.
Labial glands. Okay. Okay. So, and the major one is Malphizian tubules only.
Yes, ma'am, what you said in the labial gland, that is labranthum, what it is?
Labyrinth, it is a long tube. Tube you can see,
Okay.
no? That long coil tube is what is known as labyrinth. Above the labial gland,
Labyrinth.
it is given, no?
Labyrinth.
Labyrinth. Labyrintth.
Okay, okay.
Okay. That coiled thing is there, no? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. So now let's move on to the physiology of this. Okay, I have given a secretion. It is actually excretion. So as I said before, the main function of this excretion is to maintain the internal environment in such a condition that all the life process that takes place should be carried out without any hindrance. So when these nutrients or the water, it becomes excess, these things has to be removed as excretory products. So this excretion is what cell and also the body fluids by eliminating excess of metabolites. So this, as I said in the first line itself, that is, this metabolites may or may not be harmful, and before eliminating, they also have to reabsorb the useful material which accompany the excretory product. So as I said before, the elimination of carbon dioxide is also actually an excretory phenomena, but we dealt it separately under the respiratory system subject. So, as a rule, excretion means it deals with the elimination of nitrogenous waste products, excess of salt and water, also pigments, and some essential amino acid if they are present in excess quantity in the body. So this regulatory function of this excretion, it operates at the cellular level. And the permeability, you know that the permeability is the cell wall is the one that plays a very major role in permitting the entry or the exist of these all these substances. So in almost all the insect, with a few exception, as I said before, have this malpighian tubule that absorb the excretory metabolites and they release them into the lumen of the organ. So in terrestrial forms, the cells of the malpighian tubules and also those of the rectum are modified in such a way to absorb the water and also some essential ions before the excretory or the waste products are thrown out of the body. So now let's see what actually happens there. So you know who this Wigglesworth is? Who is Wigglesworth?
Father of physiology.
Hello?
Father of insect physiology.
Yeah, he is the father of insect physiology. So he was the first one to study about the anatomy and physiology of this malpighian tubules in Rodinex prolixus. So he was the first one who studied the physiology. So as I said, in this insect, there will be 2/3 of the distal portion of this malpighian tubules. So this distal portion is the one that absorb the excretory material from the hemolymph. And when this excretory material is absorbed, they will be transported to the cytoplasm of the cell, and finally they are secreted into the lumen in liquid form. So while in the distal portion, the excretory products in iron will be in liquid form. Once it reaches the proximal portion, what happens is the uric acid that is being absorbed in the distal part will become semi-solid. I will explain it in detail. So we know that in insect, in the blood, they will be having uric acid. So what happens here is the uric acid in the blood, the uric acid. So the uric acid in the blood, what they will do is they will combine with the sodium as well as the potassium carbonates. So these sodium and potassium carbonate is actually insoluble. So in order to soluble in water, what this sodium and potassium carbonate will do is they will combine with this uric acid and they will form sodium and potassium urate. And now this is soluble in water, and these urates, they are readily absorbed by the distal part of the malpighian tubules. So now the distal part has absorbed the waste matters, and these urates, what they will do is they will in turn are secreted into the lumen. So by the time the fluid reaches the proximal part of the malpighian tubules, what happens is the uric acid that is secreted will be precipitated, and this precipitation is actually done by an enzyme called carbonic anhydrase. And you know that this malpighian tubule pH will be alkaline. So once this uric acid is precipitated, this will be in the proximal region. And here, what happens is the water and the carbonate that are excess will be reabsorbed. So as I said, in the proximal part also, the reabsorption will take place, alternative to the rectum. So after this is some of the water and carbonates are reabsorbed, the semi-solid uric acid particles. So as I said, in the distal part, it will be liquid. So once it reaches the proximal part, they will be converted to semi-solid. So so the semi-solid uric acid particle, they will be again pushed into the. So from here, they will be pushed into the hind part. So in the hindgut, by the action of a large number of cilia or microvilli. So the proximal part, they will be having a microvilli, and this microvilli or cilia is the one that will push the particles into the hindgut. And another major activity of this cilia is that they will also helps in retaining this excretory fluid in themselves, so that there will be enough of this excretory fluid to permit the precipitation of this uric acid. So after this is gone into the hindgut, finally the nitrogenous products will be flushed out. So this is the physiology of the excretion. That is, first the water and other ionic substances in the blood, they will be absorbed in the distal part. In the distal part, they will be in the liquid state. So that is the primary urine. So once they reach the proximal part, it is converted into semi-solid, and this conversion is due to the precipitation of the uric acid by the carbonic hydrase enzyme. So after that, with the help of the cilia in the Malpighian tubules, the semi-solid substance will be transferred to the hindgut, and in the hindgut, some of the water and other useful ionic ions will be reabsorbed by the rectum. Finally, the waste products will be flushed out. So this is what is the physiology. And in insect, the K plus and chlorides are the dominant ions present in insect. So if you see, the main product of this excretion is ammonia, urea, uric acid, and there will be rarely amino acid and also allantoin. So if you take ammonia, that is, the process of elimination of ammonia is known as ammonotelism. So this is mainly seen in the aquatic insect, which does not need, which will use more of the water to flush out the waste material. So what this that ammonia, it is produced by the breakdown of urea into ammonia and also carbon dioxide by the enzymatic action. So after that, this, and also it is very important that this ammonia is very much poisonous substance. So, for the elimination of this ammonia, it needs a large quantity of water. And next is urea. Actually, this urea, it is the main constituent of the vertebrate. But this urea is also present in a small quantity in insect too. And actually, the allantoicase, it is a enzyme. So the substance allantoin is actually breaks down into the urea, and the enzyme that is helpful in converting this is the allantoicase. So in case if an insect is not having this enzyme, then the excretory product will be allantoin itself, because it will not be able to convert it into the urea as the enzyme is not present. So next is the uric acid. So it is also a major product of excretion. It is seen in almost all the insects of the terrestrial insect. So this the excretion of the uric acid is what is known as uricotelism. And this uric acid, it is non-toxic, and it is also insoluble in water. And it is excreted from the body in the form of sodium or potassium urates, as I said. So we have seen the physiology there. So the same as this one. And the insect or the organism that excrete this uric acid is what is known as urotelic animals. So, and also this uric acid is actually considered as a special physiological adaptation, because this does not need much of water for the excretion. So the terrestrial insect, they can conserve water as in this process. So next it is allantoin. As I said, when in insect where that enzyme is not present, they cannot convert it into urea. So this allantoin is the one that is present as the excretory product. Then another important one is the honeydew. You may have heard it, that the homopterin, the specific character is the secretion of honeydew. So these insect, that is the homopteran insect, they will possess highly modified elementary canal in order to cope with the cell sap they are sucking. So these are the sap sucking feeders, right? So while they have to imbibe during feeding, their elementary canal is somewhat modified. I think Ashok has taught you in digestive system, I think. So honeydew secretion is also another product that is secreted by some of the homopteran insect. So this honeydew is actually a combination of amino acid and also sugar. And these are normally absorbed in the first part of the alimentary canal, and then they are excreted out either through the malphizian tubules or through the abdominal tubercles that are present in the aphids and all. So that is for today's class. So in today's class, what we studied, what is excretion? What is excretion? Can anyone define what is excretion and how it functions in insects? Just in 2 lines. Hello. Hello, am I audible? Hello. Yeah. So what is the function of this excretory system?
It is the removal of waste materials, that is the nitrogenous waste materials from the body, and to maintain the ionic balance, that is the regulation of the internal environment of the insect.
Okay, correct. So anyone else can unmute yourself? Anyone else? Hello. Hello. Okay. Okay, so we have studied what is excretion, how excretion is useful, and what are the organs that are involved in excretion. Then briefly we studied about malphizian tubules. That is the variation in number and size of this malphizian tubule, then structure of this malphizian tubules, what this cryptonephridial condition is. Then we have studied the primary and secondary function of these malphizian tubules, and we also have studied about other organs that are involved in the excretion. Then we have studied the physiology of excretion, and lastly we have studied the products of excretion. So these are the important things you need to know in this excretory system. Okay. Hello. Hello, is it okay for you?
Yes, ma'am.
The class was okay for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then next class we will be learning about reproductive system, male and female. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. When will be the class, ma'am?
What? Hello,
Nothing,
I
ma'am.
can't hear. What?
Nothing. Nothing,
Okay.
nothing.
Okay, you asked whether I can end the class.
No, when will be the class, ma'am? I asked.
Okay, next class. I think next class will be taken by Ashok. I think he will be dealing with this morphology class. No? So I will be taking class on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I will be taking confirmly. Friday or Saturday, I will confirm it and inform you. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Then. Thank you so much. You can end the class. Okay. No one is having any doubts, right? Do you understand the class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.